Hello, I'm on my way to do some filming, and my attention has been drawn to an article in the online edition of the Daily Mail, and it's an article about the ongoing problem with Ofsted, that's the school inspectors. Now, this is an article about a head teacher who's not named, who I realise I know. And I'm very proud that she's given an interview. I know not only do I know her personally, I also know her school. It's a school that I used to take students to, my own students, when I was teaching in a university in Russia. I brought them over to the UK to see a primary school that worked incredibly well. It's academically excellent. The students come out, the secondary schools that they go to, point out how academically excellent they are, how emotionally well-rounded they are, and nothing but praise really for this school and for the head teacher. Following a recent Ofsted inspection, the head teacher wakes up at 3 a.m. most mornings crying. This was a cursory inspection at the beginning of September when the students had just come back from the summer holidays. They were asked questions like, what did you do in the previous term? And many of them, of course, couldn't answer that question. They were confused. And this seems to have prompted the report, but it seems from the way the head teacher was speaking that the result of the report was predetermined before the inspectors even got into the school. They were determined to slaughter those schools that had previously been judged excellent. And so 14 years of being an outstanding school, 14 years of having a first-rate result, and now suddenly that is destroyed with a sledgehammer by Ofsted. The lives of the children and the teachers are thrown into chaos as they find themselves suddenly at the bottom 12% with no reason and no real option for a credible appeal. This teacher knows very well what happened to Ruth Perry and how miserable she must have been feeling. Amanda Spielman is a banker. She's not a teacher, and she runs this organisation which is based on destruction rather than construction. It keeps schools in chaos and hypervigilance, not knowing what's going to happen. I've been in schools that have been inspected. It's a misery. It brings out the very worst in the worst teachers. It doesn't bring out the best in the best teachers. It brings out, it's never positive. People breathe a sigh of relief when it's over, but it is never positive. I think we should be trusting teachers rather than trusting a banker and her cronies to vet schools. And in this particular case, for example, the head teacher points out that the school was being inspected by secondary school specialists who didn't really understand what a primary school is doing. Extraordinary, quite extraordinary. We shouldn't be judged. We shouldn't be judging our children's education on some sort of spurious tick box system that nobody understands, that the specialists, the teachers, don't understand. It shouldn't come as a shock to anybody. The result should never come as a shock. It should simply be a confirmation of what everybody knows. If it's a shock, it must be wrong. It must be wrong. And instead, this builds up a tradition, a system of schools hiring second-rate heads simply because they have the experience of working as a school inspector. Hiring in proxy Ofsted inspectors to give them guidance about how to get through this horrible experience. I know some of those as well, by the way. All of this is fact. All of this is fact. None of this is speculation. We're living in a society which is drifting into a box-ticking misery, and we are being ruled by bureaucrats. We can change this. We start with small steps. The small and appropriate step to take now is to abolish Ofsted. It's something we can do quickly. It's something we can do that will have an immediate effect on our society. It will also, I hope, catapult us into looking at what other organisations serve no purpose.